Hello and welcome to On the Table. We are broadcasting on RTM Click and MyTV's Berita RTM channel 123, which is also live streaming on Facebook. I'm your host, Mona Priya. Welcome to another episode of On the Table. As the landscape around us becomes more volatile and complex due to challenges such as climate instability, disruptive technology and geopolitical shifts, food security remains high on the country's agenda. In order to ensure resilience in Malaysia's food ecosystem, various parties need to play their roles, and this includes our higher learning institutions. Now, leading the way through the food security blueprint is University Putra Malaysia. With us today is the Vice Chancellor of UPM, Professor Datuk Dr. Ahmad Farhan Muhammad Sadullah. Prof, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Prof, let's begin with the very basics. What is food security and how does the food ecosystem influence food security?
Okay, food security can also be known as food sovereignty for a country. Okay, so but in terms of definition, the Federation of Agriculture and Food defines it as the issue of availability, right? Lack of availability in one sense, where food is not available, all right? Either because we do not have enough food within our shores, or it may be disturbed by events, so it's not available. The second definition is the accessibility to food, which includes affordability. You may have food, but it's not accessible to the poor, or distribution issues. Some place perhaps curtailed by flood, for example, will not be able to have access. Then there is also about stability, the shortage of food, nutrition. Whether it's in terms of nourishment of our children, or overeating, which is also part of the diet, and also food waste, which is also part of utilization. So FAO defines it as such, and we also use that as a guide on defining food security. The ecosystem is amazing, actually. The ecosystem is huge. It involves not only agriculture, but also the business model, the policy, the importation, the demand and supply, responding to our needs. And this is a new area to me, actually. Right. When I came to UPM, I studied it, and I see that, wow, the supply actually, the demand for food has actually changed. We are moving from carbohydrate to protein now as the society becomes more sophisticated and perhaps maybe more healthy conscious. And so that needs to be addressed through supply, and that is also part of food security. Okay. So I think this is why it is a complex problem, and this is the reason why UPM is trying to use its own DNA as an agriculture-based university to help out in this food security issue. So,
Prof, in terms of food security in Malaysia, right, and comparing it to the region, say the ASEAN region, how are we doing in terms of food security compared to our neighbours?
Okay, I mean, we were looking at the indicators that are available. Okay, sometimes indicators can be misleading as well. Right, we are actually not bad. We are only second to Singapore in ASEAN. Okay. But in the world, we are 41 in the world, all right, and this is being used to rank our situation. Okay, so it may not be as serious as we thought, but when we dissect and deep dive into matters of the ecosystem, they are a lot more vulnerability than what the indicators may indicate.
When you say vulnerability, what are these?
Okay, because they measure through general indices. Okay, for example, Malaysia, we are importing rice. Okay, we are self-sustaining almost on chicken. Okay, I just give 2 examples.
Okay.
So we may feel, okay, rice, at least we are about 50% self-reliant.
Yeah.
But it is actually diminishing as because again, we go for basmati rice, no longer the white rice.
Yeah.
So, and even white rice, we are not producing enough. Okay, so we are dependent on other countries for our food, which is staple food for many.
Okay.
So it looks like, okay, we have our own, we have our jelapang padi, and we can survive. But when we look at chicken, for example, okay, chicken, we are self-sustaining, we are self-sufficient because we have a lot of chicken industry. But when we look at the food for the chicken, it's almost 100% imported. See?
Okay.
So you may see the food is available, but to ensure the sustainability of the food, the chicken needs to be fed.
That's right.
But the food of the chicken is highly protein, and we have been struggling to find an alternative to corn that we actually import. And if we study furthermore, the rice, which is 50% almost self-reliant, but we are also importing on the fertilizers. We are importing on the benih, on the seeds and so on. So if we dissect further, we have all these problems. But of course, across the food chain, we are better at fisheries because we can fish. Okay, but in terms of some food, we are vulnerable to other people's decision. Okay,
that's right.
We had that problem last year, where we had problem in rice because India, a country that we rely on importation of rice, changed their policy.
That's right.
So when they change their policy, we are affected.
Yeah.
So and then this is still not looking into war, which is also affecting because Ukraine war has been going on for many years. It affects a lot of the supply chain and so on.
Yeah. So these are geopolitical factors.
Geopolitical factors. So if you look at indicators, it can be misleading.
Okay.
So we need to deep dive and see the whole ecosystem, and that is the reason why UPM try to play our role to help on this matter.
Okay, on that note, Prof, I understand that UPM launched a blueprint just recently. Could you elaborate on this blueprint, how it works and who benefits from it?
Okay, the blueprint was originally intended to drive UPM because of our DNA as an agriculture university in the beginning. Yeah. Of course, it has evolved into other strengths. We are a comprehensive university, a research university, but we knew that no other university can drive the agriculture agenda. So we need to play our role, and of course we had to choose an issue that is critical to Malaysia and many other countries. So food security was an obvious choice, and we zoom into it. And it was a very steep learning curve from transportation engineer to food and agriculture, but I enjoyed it very much. And when we look at the ecosystem, we feel that universities and UPM can do a lot, and we need to provide a focus to our effort.
Okay.
University, being a university and academic freedom in some sense, they tend to choose their own problem statements for research, which is okay, Okay. But I just feel that it is a bit sad if UPM did not show the strength for food security. So we quickly assemble our experts, and we brainstorm actually what are the problems, the ecosystem. I had to understand. We had like 2 or 3 brainstorm sessions, assemble maybe up to 60 experts within UPM.
And I understand this is an interdisciplinary approach, isn't it? It involves a few faculties?
Almost all faculties. Almost all faculty. Because at the end of the day, everybody can contribute. And that was the beauty of it, because we started off with a food security that maybe seemed to be more inclined towards the agriculture faculty or experts. But then as we deep dive, we look at the ecosystem, hey, everybody can contribute.
Yeah.
So we did that, and we came up with a framework, and as it evolved over the months, we saw that, hey, this is something that we can really help through the institution of higher learning. But we still name it as UPM's Blueprint for Food Security. So we came out, and it was done over perhaps 8 months. So we started in October 2023. We launched it in June 2024.
Okay.
And we chose Bahasa Malaysia as the language because we thought many players are farmers and so on, and said, okay, and we did not have the energy to have a dual track.
Not at that point.
Not at that point. Okay. So we launched it in Malay, and I played my role to publicize it, and had opportunity also in international arena. I gave some talks here and there, and everybody said that, hey, we want to also benefit from it.
That's right.
So now I'm happy that we have the English version after almost 6 months.
Wonderful.
And but again, it was for us, but the blessing of the effort when it is ready, it is actually usable by anybody. Okay. And that is where we are now. Okay. So the blueprint is now being made as a reference, and at the same time, Ministry of Higher Education also appointed UPM as the leading university, or the the champion of the effort, because Ministry of Higher Education wanted to create clusters, and we had AI led by UTM, and the second one actually is food security led by UPM, and so we use that also as part of mobilizing the institution of higher learning to use our blueprint, and we have a nexus now, and sort of a loose consortium called Nexus for Food Security, and we have all the public universities in it, and now 8 universities, private universities, are also within the Nexus, and we have actually several discussions now, and we hope that they can refer to our blueprint and they can choose. UPM cannot be helping alone.
Of course.
So we need at least, now 28 institution of higher learning, and we are also extending it to Polytechnic because they are also interested. Okay. Because there are elements of TVET, there are elements of technology, there are elements of capacity building for all levels. Okay. So we need to use the entire education machinery, actually.
Prof, what would you say are the main pillars of this blueprint?
We have a framework, of course. Okay. We have 3 outcomes that we would like to achieve. The first is to produce graduates and agropreneurs, agricultural entrepreneurs. So meaning even graduates in a different area, and engineering graduates that can contribute to agriculture. Or we can also produce agripreneurs that will be the entrepreneurs driving the agenda. And this is very critical. Because you see the ecosystem are mainly from the senior citizen. Our farmers, are typically from the village. Yes. And they are still struggling with technology and so on. So we need the young blood.
The young people, yes.
The young
we need
people
to inject
transform.
Youth.
Because agriculture cannot be a second-class sector. Agriculture has to be a priority sector, and therefore we hope that through this agenda, the first outcome, we can change that. Second outcome is technology. In order to change the ecosystem, to improve productivity, yield, and to be more environmentally friendly, we need technology.
That's right.
And the conduit or the enabler are the youngsters.
That's right.
Imagine trying to change our senior folks. It's almost very difficult. So that is our second outcome. And university, being a university, we can actually do the science, we can do the development, technology, and I'm happy to say that UPM have had many success stories commercialized and being used by others. And the third is actually the farming community. So we go into community empowerment to change the community to put agriculture as a prioritized area, and that is a big challenge. We also along the process coined Putra, our name, as pertanian untuk rakyat.
Okay.
It happens to be an acronym.
That's right.
So agriculture for the people is also part of what we are trying to achieve here.
Okay, and hold that thought, Prof. We'll be right back after a short break to continue the conversation. And we'll be right back after these messages. Don't go away.
In 2025, Malaysia opens its doors to ASEAN, a celebration of unity and culture, bringing every moment of ASEAN 2025 to you, only on RTM.
And we are back. We are speaking to Professor Datuk Dr. Ahmad Farhan, the Vice Chancellor of UPM, on food security in Malaysia. Now, Prof, you mentioned 3 outcomes. Now, let's talk about the pillars of the blueprint.
Right, sure. In order to achieve those outcomes, of course, we need the trust, how to push the people. So we went back to the core business of a university. So the 3 pillars are actually academic excellence. All right, we need to create curriculum, academic programs that will drive the university towards achieving those outcomes. And this is where, as part of a UPM strategic plan or strategic framework, we are driving for best learning and living experience. So this is the best way through academic excellence to make sure our current students are aware of the possibilities and opportunities from the agriculture industry and food security industry. But we also want students to come to UPM.
That's right. So it's not just about an internal...
Exactly. We need all the programs that are associated to agriculture and food security, either directly or indirectly, to be popular.
But that's a challenge, isn't it?
Very much.
How do you do that?
We need to go to the schools. Now, we have also part of this effort, actually, we have also worked with some schools. We have our food security club to get them to see kids now don't even know how chicken looks like, maybe. So these are part of the challenge,
Yeah, because you see the end product, the highly processed product, and you don't know where it comes from.
Nuggets and popcorn, chicken porn. Right. So that is something that we also, because we have a education faculty that looks into this. So the number 2 is impactful research and innovation. This is very critical for us, So what has happened, and we have tracked this, and for 2024 performance, we wanted our academics, our researchers as well, especially, to look into the blueprint as a source of identification of problems that need to be solved. So these become research questions. We have PhDs. These are the appropriate research questions that, upon completion, you do the grant, you publish, people will read because it is a problem of the country. So that is a strategy that we need. Research being done using money, public money, private money, that is impactful. That is our actually second strategy in the UPM's general framework.
But there's also the funds that need to be allocated for that research.
That's why the third one is community and industry engagement, because we cannot be relying on government money.
That's right.
So we need community and industry. And 2024 was a good year for UPM. We were able to get a lot of money from banks, from government, from private sector, from NGOs and state governments to support the agenda of food security. And just to complete the framework, we have 5 supporting foundations, which are governance, all the strategic communication, financial sustainability, talent, infra, and finally collaboration and global network. So that is the framework, and from that framework we actually went into it, and we actually we came up with initiatives, suggested initiatives for each of the components, so that it can really be a blueprint with reference, so that the team, either you are coming up with a new syllabus, look at the problem statements in the blueprint
first,
in a way, as a guide.
Okay.
And if you look into the blueprint, we made it very, very it is reflecting the real situation. Chapter 2 actually looks into the situation of food security.
Okay.
So it's based on data, factual, and these are all backed by the experts in UPM. And I think it is almost on the dot. It's not theoretical. It is something that is real. And that is why we feel it is a waste if we don't share this with other friends. So that we hope for the next 5 years, for example, any research that comes out on addressing food security is actually addressing the real problem.
Okay. And Prof, for the general public, if people want to read the content of this blueprint, it is available on your website?
It is available, downloadable from the UPM website. And of course, the Malay version is already available.
That's right.
The English will soon be. I hope we can finalize on its final form, and the English version will be soon. This is public accessible.
Fantastic. Now, Prof, anything that's conceptualized and brought towards the public, I'm sure there are some challenges. So, looking at the blueprint, what would you say are the disruptive factors that you would expect in implementing ideas and initiatives out of the blueprint?
Okay, first thing is buy-in, the buy-in.
The buy-in.
So the buy-in within UPM, we use 2024 as a very intense buying in from our own people. If we can't even convince our own team to review and use such a beautiful document, how can we
convince outsiders?
So that was 2024, and of course we monitored them. We brought it into our KPI, and we see. We did a survey actually, and many knew about it. But again, this year we are going to actualize it. You know, knowing is one thing, doing is another thing. We also, part of the original design is to come up with an implementation plan. So the implementation plan is ready. Okay. Is to be launched for 3 years. So we had, because remember I told you we had suggested initiative for every item, and we also now have projects because we need to also put money to it.
That's right.
That's the toughest, you know. So we also dedicated some money, and we hope that, you know, we will get donors, we will get endowment, of course we will get grants for our effort. So the next level is, which we have also started, is of course to work with the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, and we signed 5 MOUs during Maha 2024 as part of this effort. Oh, nice. So I'm very happy that the Ministry and its agencies has looked at this as an effort by UPM and Institution of Higher Learning to help the country. You know, we are not in competition, and YAB, PMX always talk about the whole nation approach. This is what we need. And at least from Institution of Higher Learning, we are doing that. Okay? But in terms of getting the output, the outcome, which is food security, okay, talking about availability, stability, and so on, there are, to me, maybe 4 challenges, if I can just quickly. Yes. First one is actually enabling policy. Yes. We see that a lot of policies are dated, very old policies. Outdated. And we need to change that. And my call to my team is, hey, you know, our School of Business and Economy, our School of Human Ecology, let's look into the policy. You are the policy people, social scientists. That's right. And see whether it's still appropriate, is still relevant, or do we need to change, you know. And we can probe and provoke and influence, perhaps, with research, you know, and seeing whether we should change. For example, our monopoly. Food security is very monopolistic, that's right? We have the words cartel and so on. Where we can comment, but UPM or our friends from other universities can do good research to prove to the government we need to update our policy. That's right. Second is talent. We need talent from farmers to the entire ecosystem, because we need technology to come in. And we need to upgrade the talent so that they also do agriculture that are sustainable. sustainable practices. You know, agriculture is also one of the most polluted industry. If we don't change that, agriculture will not support planetary health.
That's right.
We want agriculture to support planetary health, food security to support planetary health. So that is another issue that we need to do.
And the third?
And the third is ecosystem.
Okay.
We need to understand the entire ecosystem, demand, supply, the supply chain, where there are roadblocks, how can we improve the income of our farmers.
That's right.
So this is actually going outside the realm of the university, but we feel if we do enough research on this, we can actually have facts and factual, strong points that we can push the government, or the society, or the community to actually advance and change for the betterment of our food security industry and situation in the country.
Okay. Prof, you had 4 points, I think. Was that the fourth?
Yeah, I think that's 4. Well, I can go in, but
no, we're running out of time.
Yeah, out of the talent comes technology. I mean, we can link back. We can link back the framework.
Okay.
Technology, enablers in terms of youngsters to change the industry.
Okay.
But I think policy will be critical because this is also quite challenging. One small thing is also to localize state government's role, local community role. I think this is about community empowerment, which is also very critical to food security.
Empowering the local communities.
Localize. So local community take charge of their own food and not depending on big scale national vulnerability in terms of food supply.
That's right.
That's another way.
And on that note, Prof, I'm really sorry that we've run out of time because there's so much to discuss on this very important and crucial subject matter. Thank you so much for being with us here today and for giving us your insights on the blueprint.
Pleasure.
Thank you. And that's about all the time we've got for On the Table this evening. Now, we've been speaking to Professor Dr. Ahmad Farhan Mohamed Sadullah, the Vice-Chancellor of UPM. Now, a repeat of this episode's broadcast can be viewed again at the same time tomorrow and subsequent days on both RTM Click and MyTV's Berita RTM channel, as well as Berita RTM YouTube channel. Till next Thursday, where we'll discuss another topic of interest, I'm Mohana Priya signing off.